Hey, this is Justin Gilman with Quantum Leads, and today I'll be walking through your digital marketing attack plan to show you how you can generate more revenue for your business every single month through the use of Google. Now, let's take a look at the top here, and you'll see that we have AC Repair San Antonio plugged in there, which generates about 1,600 searches every single month. Now, that's a lot of potential for business. However, you got to think that it even grows past that because you have different search terms such as AC installation, AC repair near me, all these different terms that generate traction in the San Antonio area. However, for the sake of this video, we will just be focusing on AC Repair San Antonio. But let's talk about it. So let's go to your website and talk about the first thing, which is internal SEO. So here we are on your website, and the first thing I'm going to say is that you have a very visually aesthetic website, and it serves its purpose as far as pushing leads to your business. However, we don't want to just push leads to our business, from customers that we already have. We want to expand outwards and use this website as a tool for lead generation. Now, how do we do that? Now, from an SEO standpoint, the first thing we're going to look at is internal SEO. Now, what is internal SEO? Well, internal SEO is essentially all the different ways that we can improve your website's search appearance from within the website itself. Now, normally you'll hear things like title tags, heading tags, local business schema, and all these different things thrown around as far as internal SEO goes. And while those are great, for the sake of time in this video, we're just going to touch on the two most important things, which are content and keywords. Now, let's start with content. Why is content so important? Well, we want to have a very contentful website because it gives users something to engage with. And when they have something to engage with, it tends to lead to a more positive experience, either leading to them coming back to your website or using Google for future searches. So it makes a lot of sense, and it's a win-win scenario for Google because they get more users, and so do you by them promoting your website. Now, normally I like to recommend about 750 to 1,000 words of content on your home page. And currently you fall within that metric. However, we don't just want any content on our website. And I think the next part is going to especially apply to you is that we really want to have some relevant content on our website. And now, how do we make sure that our content is relevant? Well, we want to make sure our content is relevant through our keywords. Now, what are keywords? Keywords are the most used words or phrases on a website. And based on these keywords, Google's going to determine what your website is about. Now, we want to focus these keywords to answer industry-specific questions to Google. Normally, I like to recommend three most important ones, which are, what do we do? What's our industry? Number two, where are we located? And number three, who are we? What is our brand? So let's take a look at your keywords and see if they answer those three integral questions for Google. So here we are on a tool I use called Keywords Everywhere. And if we scroll down, you'll see your most used keywords to your least used. And like I said, so we start at the top. We have system at number one, then service, then heating, then repair, then air, then Wilson, then customers. However, within our top 6 to 8 keywords, we really want to optimize these. So here's kind of my recommendations of how you should lay out your keywords. Now, number one and number two should be your industry specific keywords. Normally, I like to recommend air or AC at number one for AC repair companies. And then number two is some sort of modifier of the first keyword. So if you have AC at number one, you can use a modifier such as repair, maybe use installation, or just another keyword to kind of harp on that first keyword. Now, moving down the list here, at number 3 and 4, I always recommend putting your location. Putting your location is great because it helps drive a lot of local traffic, and we want to put that in the top 3 or 4 to really stress to Google where we do business. Now, number 4 and number 5, I like to recommend putting your brand in there. A lot of people don't put their brand in there because they just think, hey, I'm automatically going to rank for my business's name. And while that's true in some cases, it's not true in many because oftentimes you find another business with a very similar name or the same name either across the United States or in another country. So very important that we put our brand up there. That way we can rank for customers looking directly for our business. So those are just some things to think about. Let's take a look at your competition and see what they're doing as far as content and keywords go. So here we have Comfort Boys, and they rank on the first page organically for AC repair companies in the San Antonio area. And if we scroll down here, you're going to notice that they have a ton of content. I'd even say that they have over 2,000 words of content just on this homepage alone. Obviously, I don't recommend doing that much because you do sacrifice some visual aesthetic. However, you see how far content can really take a website as far as getting them favorable rankings to rank on the first page. Obviously, there's more to it than that. So let's kind of take a look at what keywords they have. So we're on Keywords Everywhere, and let's scroll down here. At number one, they have air. Then they have their location, San Antonio. Then they have system, call. So it starts to fall off after those first three keywords, but ultimately, kind of that general idea of industry specific keywords. Obviously, they need to further optimize themselves. However, a good starting point and maybe even something to think about yourself as far as putting air at number one or AC at number one, then having your location there at that two, three, or four spot. Like I said, I recommend three and four. That way you can work an industry modifier in at number two. But however, there are different ways to go about it, and some people prioritize different keywords over others. But use this as a guide to kind of base your website off of. You don't have to directly copy it, but it's something to think about. Now let's go back to your website and talk about external search engine optimization and how it ties into everything. So now we're talking about external search engine optimization. And just like with internal, how we talked about internal does everything on your site and lays the foundation, external SEO is going to be everything off of your site. And it's going to give us that big push ahead of our competition here. So we need both to be the most effective. But let's talk about external SEO for a second. So in this case, we're going to be talking about backlinking. What is backlinking? Why is it so important? So backlinks, very simple. It's just a link from one website to another, and it transfers SEO power along with it. And that's why it's really important because getting a quality backlink from a quality website can really generate you some solid power in the eyes of Google because it's essentially a recommendation. When one quality website links to yours, it's essentially them saying, hey, I support the content from this website, or hey, I support this website, or whatever they're saying. So definitely something to think about when getting backlinks from other websites. However, we have to walk a very fine tightrope when getting backlinks because, just like I said, we really want to focus on the quality of our links. If we get a harmful or spammy link from a harmful or spammy site, it can also tell Google that we are a harmful or spammy site and really send us down the rankings in a negative fashion. So something to really think about when you're out backlinking because a lot of people just throw 1,000 backlinks on a site and hope it ranks well when that's really not the case and that could actually hurt your rankings very negatively. So let's take a look at a tool I have called Ahrefs and see what your backlink structure is working with so far. So here we are in Ahrefs, and if you take a look here, you have a 13 UR, a 3.4 DR, which puts you in the top 100 for 370 different keywords, and ultimately it generates you about 91 organic users every single month. Not bad, and it's actually really it's ahead of a lot of the companies that I talked to initially. However, how can we expand on these metrics? What can we do? Let's first touch on what these metrics mean. So UR stands for URL rating. And what that is, it's essentially the power given to an individual web page. So in this case, we're just talking about your homepage and the power that it generates. Whereas DR stands for domain rating. And what that is the individual power given through an entire website. So now we're not just talking about your homepage anymore. We're talking about all your service pages, your savings and finances pages, your comfort rewards. Essentially, every single page summarized into one is your DR. So definitely something to think about. We want the strongest of all metrics. So internal SEO, external SEO, UR, DR, all these things come together to create the strongest SEO strategy possible. But let's take a look at some of your competitors so you can see, how this works in action. So starting out here, we have Comfort Boys. They have a 21 UR and a 1.1 DR, which generates them or puts them in the top 100 for 931 keywords and generates them about 1.3K traffic every single month. Let's keep working down the line here. We have Will Fix It. They also ranked on the first page. Let's take a look at their external SEO. They have a 34 UR and a 12 DR. Puts them in the top 100 for 2.8K keywords, and it generates about 4,000 users every single month. We're still working back here. We have our Aramendia, and if we go to there, they have a 38 UR and an 11 DR. Puts them in the top 100 for 2.6 thousand keywords. And then let's see, they have about 2,700 users every single month. So a clear correlation between a positive SEO strategy and the amount of organic traffic that you can generate every single month. But let's go back to the Google search engine results page and talk about the Google My Business profile and how that can affect your business. So we're back to the search engine results page, and if we scroll down here, what we've been talking about is the organic search results down here. However, we also have this map pack right here. This is called the Google Map Pack, and it's really important because it essentially gives businesses two different places that they can win on Google. You can obviously win down below like we talked about, but you can also win in this map pack. And if you can effectively do both and get the number one spot in both, you can guarantee that 1,600 people see your website first before even going to another competitor. So a lot of business potential here. But let's talk about first, how do I get into the map pack? So to get into the map pack, you first have to verify your business via postcard with Google, but that's 100% free. And now to rank in the map pack, you have to adhere to the different factors that Google is looking for. So number one, that would be filling out the GMB form to 100%. The reason I say 100% is because the more information that you give them, the more reputable your business looks. Number two, they're looking for a strong organic rank. So SEO is very important, not only for down below, but also for in this map pack. And then number three, what they're looking for is citations. Now, citations are all the different places your business's name, address, and phone number are listed online. And some popular citations are things like Yelp, the Yellow Pages, Facebook, Instagram. All of those are different citations you can get for your business. Let's take a look at how many citations each of these businesses has, and we'll determine how many citations you'll need on top of all the other SEO factors we talked about before. So here we are on Whitespark, and as you can see at the top, we have Atlas AC Repair, number one with 22 citations, Tiger Services and Air Conditioning at 41, San Antonio Air Service Experts at 37. So as you can see, a good amount of citations. And you may be asking yourself, well, Justin, these guys only have 22 citations. How do they rank number one? And like I said, there's a variety of factors. They could have a more optimized profile. They could have a stronger organic rank. They could have more reviews. All these different things factor in when you're talking about GMB rankings. So we really want to make sure that we do our best in every single part. That way we don't have a scenario like this where we have more citations or we have better SEO and we're not outranking this company. So definitely something to think about. I normally recommend that you double the biggest amount in here. So if it's 41, you'll need 82 citations on top of the SEO factors we talked about to really go in and start outranking these companies. But that's just my estimations. Once again, this is all I have for you in this video. I hope it was very helpful. Once again, my name is Justin Gilman with Quantum Leads. I'd love to set up a meeting and talk more with you guys, maybe about things that weren't discussed in this video, or even things, about this video, maybe any questions or concerns you may have. So feel free to shoot us an email or a phone call. Once again, my name is Justin Gilman with Quantum Leads. Thanks for watching.